Since its debut in 1987, The Bold and the Beautiful has captivated audiences around the world with its mix of high fashion, intense drama, and unforgettable characters. Over the years, the show has featured a stellar cast whose performances helped make it one of the most beloved soap operas in television history. But behind the glitz and glamour, several of these talented actors have tragically passed away, some unexpectedly, others after brave battles with illness. In this video, we take a heartfelt look back at the stars of The Bold and the Beautiful who are no longer with us, honoring their legacies, their contributions to the show, and the personal tragedies that marked their final chapters. Darlene Connley, born July 18, 1934, took on the role of Sally Spectra in 1988 at the age of 54. Sally was the loud, flamboyant matriarch of Spectra Fashions, part fashion tycoon, part comic relief, but always unforgettable. Behind the curtain, however, Darlene's life was laced with secrecy and pain she masked with theatrical bravado. Her early career was marked by fierce competition and professional envy. She was reportedly blacklisted from several stage productions in the 70s due to heated altercations with directors over control. She had a turbulent love life, including a failed engagement to a fellow actor who allegedly swindled her out of tens of thousands of dollars. Darlene confided in close friends about estrangement from a family member battling addiction, a private heartbreak she kept out of the tabloids. There were whispers of her being notoriously difficult on set, clashing with writers over creative direction, and her flamboyant behavior wasn't always welcome behind the scenes. Darlene Connley died on January 14, 2007, at age 72 from stomach cancer. Andrea Evans, born June 18, 1957, joined The Bold and the Beautiful as Tawny Moore in 1999, taking the role at age 42. Tawny was a manipulative stage mom, always scheming to secure her daughter Amber's future, no matter the cost. The character was eerily reflective of Andrea's personal narrative. At the height of her fame on One Life to Live, Andrea abruptly vanished from television for nearly a decade following a harrowing stalker incident, details of which she only partially revealed. The stalker was allegedly a former crew member with whom she'd once been romantically linked, a fact she never confirmed but hinted at in cryptic interviews. Her return to soap operas was rocky. Multiple reports emerged of tensions with producers who found her too fragile for the demands of daytime TV. Evans struggled with chronic anxiety and had admitted in private circles to self-medicating with alcohol in the early 2000s. One ex described her as brilliant but emotionally volatile, and castmates reported unpredictable mood swings during shoots. Andrea Evans died of breast cancer on July 9, 2023, aged 66. Joseph Mscalo, born March 13, 1929, stepped into the world of The Bold and the Beautiful in 2001 as Massimo Marone IV, the manipulative patriarch introduced at age 72. While celebrated as a soap opera villain, Joseph's off-screen life was riddled with shadows. Rumors persist that during the height of his Days of Our Lives fame, he was embroiled in a hush-hush settlement involving a volatile affair with a much younger castmate. Industry gossip claimed he used his pull to get rivals written off scripts, earning him the nickname the Puppet Master on set. In his private life, his marriage was scarred by long separations, and his only son was arrested multiple times for drug-related offenses, something Mscalo never addressed publicly. His domineering nature extended to crew and co-stars alike, many describing him as intimidating and unforgiving. While his musicianship was praised, some insiders said he weaponized his cultural prestige to hide an intensely controlling personality. Joseph Mscalo died on December 8, 2016, at the age of 87 from Alzheimer's-related complications. Michael Fox, born February 27, 1921, debuted as Saul Feinberg in 1989 at age 68. Saul was sweet, quirky, and loyal to Sally, often used for comic relief but carried a poignant humanity. In contrast, Fox's real life was marked by years of personal disillusionment. Though rarely spoken of, He was plagued by career bitterness. He had once been in line for leading roles in major films but was replaced last minute multiple times, leading to a period of alcohol dependence in the 60s. Married 3 times, each relationship reportedly ended in estrangement and resentment, with accusations of emotional detachment. Fox was known to be hypercritical on set, and several younger actors privately complained about his condescension. He was also a compulsive gambler for much of his life, losing most of his early television earnings to card tables and horses. Despite the absence of public scandal, he led a deeply reclusive final decade, reportedly alienated from his children and battling depression. Michael Fox died from pneumonia complications on June 1, 1996, at age 75. Joseph Campanella, born November 21, 1924, took on the role of Jonathan Young in 1996 at age 72. The character was calm, insightful, and morally upright, an anomaly in a world of betrayal and manipulation. But off-screen, Campanella's golden reputation concealed a gnawing bitterness toward Hollywood's shifting tastes, which quietly pushed him into the margins by the 80s. Though his early career soared with Emmy nominations and prestige dramas, he was abruptly dropped from several major projects in the late 70s without explanation, some whispering it was due to his unwillingness to play into studio politics or rumored clashes with aggressive younger stars. While his public image remained clean, those close to him spoke of private despair over being aged out, leading to periods of deep depression and isolation. He was devoted to family but reportedly cut ties with certain colleagues who betrayed his trust in business dealings. Campanella passed away on May 16, 2018, at age 93, from complications of Parkinson's disease. Jeff Conaway, born October 5, 1950, brought Mick Savage to life in 1989 at 39, a volatile character whose chaos mirrored Jeff's unraveling reality. Behind his iconic roles in Grease and Taxi was a tormented man wrestling with prescription pills, heroin, and deep-rooted trauma. His charm masked relentless cycles of rehab and relapse, as he became a tabloid regular, collapsing under the weight of fame. Once fired from Taxi for erratic behavior, Jeff blamed the industry but privately admitted to suicidal thoughts and a lifelong identity crisis. His marriages were plagued by codependency, and he endured years of estrangement from family members. In Celebrity Rehab, viewers saw the raw truth, a broken man begging for peace. He accused handlers of manipulation, and friends hinted at emotional abuse in his inner circle. Conaway died on May 27, 2011, at just 60, from pneumonia exacerbated by prescription drug abuse, having spent his final years as a tragic warning of what Hollywood devours. Phyllis Diller, born July 17, 1917, lit up the bold and the beautiful in 1995 at age 78 as the flamboyant Gladys Pope, a character that mirrored her real-life caricature. But behind the cackling laugh and garish makeup was a woman who built her empire on pain. Diller's early years were marred by a violent marriage to a schizophrenic husband who beat her in front of their children. She raised 5 kids, 2 of whom predeceased her, and often joked about her failures as a mother, though privately she mourned their estrangement. Her public image as a wild, liberated woman masked deep insecurities. She underwent over 15 plastic surgeries, driven by industry cruelty and her own body dysmorphia. Friends revealed she had fits of rage when off camera, often berating staff and ghosting collaborators she felt had betrayed her. Diller died on August 20, 2012, from heart failure, at age 95, remembered by many as a comedy legend, but by some as a wounded soul who turned personal anguish into punchlines. Robert Clary, born March 1, 1926, debuted as Pierre Jordan in 1990 at age 64, playing a suave, cultured man with a mysterious past, uncannily echoing Clary's own haunted history. A Holocaust survivor, he was the lone survivor of a family murdered in Nazi death camps, and though his public persona was cheery, those close to him described a man who suffered from recurring night terrors and survivor's guilt well into his 80s. After Hogan's Heroes, Clary found himself typecast and quietly resented being frozen in that comedic power role, which he felt trivialized real trauma. While he never lashed out publicly, there were rumors of private outbursts on set when Holocaust jokes were made in poor taste. He never had children, and though he married later in life, insiders say he struggled with intimacy, often retreating emotionally without warning. Clary died on November 16, 2022, at 96, the cause undisclosed, taking with him untold stories of pain hidden beneath his affable screen presence. Anthony Adabo, born September 14, 1960, joined The Bold and the Beautiful in 1997 at 37, as Tony Rush Carrera, a brooding heartthrob whose romantic entanglements echoed Anthony's real-life tumult. Despite his model-perfect looks, his career was a string of near misses, repeatedly cast, then recast or written out. Adabo developed a reputation among casting agents as difficult, though friends insisted it stemmed from anxiety and insecurity. He divorced quietly in the early 2000s, and though he had one child, he rarely saw him, some blaming it on bitter custody battles fueled by financial struggles. By 2010, he had all but vanished from screens, retreating to odd jobs and rumored stints at rehab facilities. Gossip swirled about unpaid debts and a gambling habit that may have hastened his downfall. Despite whispers of depression, he remained fiercely private, shunning publicity. Adabo died on October 18, 2016, aged 56. His cause of death was never made public, sparking speculation about a final, lonely spiral. Betty White, born January 17, 1922, appeared as in Douglas in 2006 at age 84. Her character was elegant and morally complex, mirroring the matriarchal grace she projected in real life, yet behind the golden smile, not everything glittered. A titan of television, her career wasn't without shadows. In the 1950s, she was nearly cancelled for giving African-American tap dancer Arthur Duncan a platform, and although she was hailed for it later, the incident triggered quiet industry retaliation. Beneath her image as America's grandma lay a history of failed romances. Her first two marriages were short-lived disasters marked by infidelity and emotional distance. Though her third husband, Alan Ludden, brought stability, Betty confessed in late interviews that she struggled with deep loneliness after his death, which even her many pets couldn't cure. Hollywood loved her, but she didn't always love it back, admitting to years of bitterness over being typecast and sidelined. Betty White died on December 31, 2021, in Los Angeles, at age 99 from a stroke. James Doohan, born March 3, 1920, played Damon Warwick in 1993 at the age of 73. While most remember him fondly as Scotty from Star Trek, Doohan's real life was a cocktail of buried trauma and volatile rage. A World War II hero who was shot 6 times on D-Day, he wore prosthetics for most of his career, something he kept secret out of pride and fear of pity. Married 3 times, his final marriage was to a woman 36 years younger, sparking gossip and thinly veiled disgust among peers. Several of his children publicly stated they had little contact with him, with one calling him an absentee father who only lived for convention applause. Doohan could be tyrannical on set, once locking a writer in a dressing room during a dispute over dialogue. In the 80s, he had to be escorted off a flight after threatening a steward with a bottle. Diagnosed with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's later in life, he faded into obscurity, increasingly confused and angry, barely recognizing the fans who had adored him. James Doohan died on July 20, 2005, in Redmond, Washington, at age 85 from pneumonia and Alzheimer's complications. Percy Stevens, born February 14, 1958, portrayed Steve Crown in 1993 at the age of 35. On screen, Steve was a smooth-talking heartthrob, but off-screen Perry lived a life haunted by illusions of fame and chronic insecurity. Despite his breakout in Loving, his career took a nosedive after a scandalous falling out with producers who accused him of being unreliable and arrogant. While his southern charm captivated fans, insiders remember an ego that ballooned with every new role. A brief music career ended when he was caught lip-syncing during a live charity concert, sparking humiliation and public ridicule. His personal life was no less chaotic. He married twice, both ending in bitter divorces marred by accusations of emotional abuse. Former partners alleged he used charm to manipulate, then discarded them when their adoration faded. He struggled with alcohol dependency, which became painfully apparent in his final public appearances, glassy-eyed, bloated, and often slurring. Percy Stevens died on September 8, 2005, at age 47 from liver failure. Lawrence Haden, born October 25, 1922, portrayed Charles Williams in The Bold and the Beautiful in 1988 at age 66. The role suited him, a composed legal mind immersed in the show's tangled business affairs. Behind his dignified on-screen presence, however, Haden led a life cloaked in old Hollywood secrecy. Though publicly scandal-free, insiders whispered of his obsession with control, an actor who demanded final say on even minor wardrobe choices and berated younger co-stars for perceived unprofessionalism. His military past gave him gravitas but also a rigidity that alienated colleagues. Off-screen, his marriage was a lonely arrangement, strained by his wife's struggle with mental illness and his years-long emotional withdrawal. After a sharp career decline in the 90s, he reportedly lived in near isolation, his health deteriorating quietly. He died on May 10, 2013, at age 90, from complications related to Lewy body disease, a cruel decline for a man who once commanded every room he entered. Francisco San Martin, born August 27, 1985, took on the role of Mateo in 2017, at the age of 32. Mateo was sleek, sexy, and secretive, much like the actor himself, whose charm masked profound personal torment. Despite recurring roles on Days of Our Lives and Jane the Virgin, Francisco never broke through into stardom, often cast as a token Latin lover and quietly resentful of the typecasting. Privately, he was battling depression and identity struggles, exacerbated by Hollywood's pressure and silence around mental health. Friends noted his increasing isolation, cryptic Instagram posts, and sudden disappearance from red carpets. There were whispers of a toxic affair with a powerful male producer, which left Francisco devastated and blacklisted. Estranged from his conservative Spanish family due to his sexuality, he often described himself as homeless in spirit. In his final days, he sold personal belongings and reportedly left notes to colleagues apologizing for not being enough. On January 16, 2025, he was found dead by suicide, hanging, in his Los Angeles apartment. He was 39. Henry Darrow, born September 15, 1933, joined The Bold and the Beautiful in 1998 as Dr. Carlos Nunez at age 65, bringing empathy and intellect to the show's hospital scenes. Yet the polished persona belied years of rage over Hollywood's typecasting. As the first Latino Zorro, Darrow fought tirelessly for authentic representation but often found himself sidelined, fueling a bitterness that simmered beneath his composed image. Privately, his life was fractured, his son battled addiction, and his marriage barely survived after rumors emerged of Darrow's affair with a young stage actress. He was said to be both mentor and manipulator, frequently using his influence to sabotage rival Latino actors he saw as threats. Late in life, health setbacks and disillusionment with the industry turned him reclusive. He died from natural causes on March 14, 2021, in North Carolina, aged 87, having watched his dreams of Latino empowerment become Hollywood platitudes. Matthew Cowles, born September 28, 1944, played Curtis Love in 1997 at 53, an erratic, wild-eyed character perfectly echoing Cowles' offbeat real-life energy. Known for his portrayal of the deranged Billy Clyde Tuggle, Cowles was both a soap villain and a real-life rebel. He spurned Hollywood glamour, choosing instead a gritty life in a Brooklyn loft, riding motorcycles and hosting raucous late-night gatherings with fringe artists and anarchists. His marriage to Christine Baranski, an unlikely pairing, was riddled with tension. Friends say his anarchic lifestyle clashed with her structured world, though they never divorced. He was reportedly banned from several sets due to clashes with producers, often arriving intoxicated or refusing direction. Despite being a gifted playwright, many projects were derailed by his impulsive, chaotic temperament. Cowles died on May 22, 2014, aged 69, from congestive heart failure, an iconoclastic figure to the end, both admired and feared. Fran Bennett, born August 14, 1937, took on the role of Judge Madeline Collins in The Bold and the Beautiful in 1987 at 50, embodying stern wisdom and moral weight. But behind the robe was a woman scarred by systemic exclusion and personal grief. A stage legend, Bennett was often denied lead roles in television due to her race, leading her to describe her career as a decades-long polite rejection. Fiercely private, her love life was a void. She never married, and former colleagues whispered of a long, painful affair with a closeted producer that ended in public humiliation. She suffered years of chronic illness she never spoke about publicly, often collapsing backstage after performances. Bennett mentored many young black actors, but quietly resented how few doors truly opened for them. She died on September 12, 2021, aged 84, from undisclosed causes, taking her secrets, heartbreak, and brilliance with her. Kevin Dobson, born March 18, 1943, portrayed Judge Devin Owens in 2006 at 63, delivering gravitas and resolve in tense courtroom arcs. Yet Dobson's behind-the-scenes life was far from composed. A military vet turned actor, he carried PTSD-like symptoms that often emerged in bursts of anger and distrust on set. Co-stars spoke of his habit of rewriting scenes without approval, claiming he knew the character better than the writers. Though celebrated for his roles in Kojak and Knots Landing, his refusal to adapt to modern TV politics saw him quietly blacklisted from several networks. His marriage endured public strain when his wife's affair was exposed in tabloids, and his son's criminal conviction further damaged his reputation. Dobson buried himself in veterans' work as a way to regain purpose, but years of emotional isolation took their toll. He died from a heart attack on September 6, 2020, aged 77, his final years defined by stoic silence and unhealed wounds. Charlton Heston, born October 4, 1923, appeared as himself in The Bold and the Beautiful in 1993 at the age of 70, bringing with him a mythic gravitas. But off-screen, Heston's life was far from divine. Though revered for Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments, his extreme political stances and late-in-life alliance with the NRA shattered his legacy. Former colleagues admitted he became increasingly paranoid and alienating during the 1990s, pushing away longtime friends over ideological differences. His marriage, though publicly upheld as stable, was fraught with control issues. His wife reportedly endured years of emotional coldness. Several former aides accused him of verbal abuse, describing a man whose private anger clashed violently with his public poise. Heston's Alzheimer's diagnosis remained secret for years, with insiders alleging he resisted treatment and denied his condition, even as his behavior on set became erratic. He died on April 5, 2008, at the age of 84, from pneumonia and complications of Alzheimer's disease, a once mighty figure lost to mental deterioration and public controversy. David L. Llander, born June 22, 1947, portrayed Dr. Martin "Marty" Guthrie in The Bold and the Beautiful in 1997, at the age of 50. His character, eccentric yet brilliant, brought levity and unpredictability to the show's medical storylines. While he was adored as Squiggy in Laverne and Shirley, Llander's career took a dark turn behind the scenes. Diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 1984, he kept the illness secret for nearly 15 years, living in denial while pushing through industry rejection and typecasting. He struggled with depression and resentment, especially after being silently blacklisted in the late 80s for his unpredictable health and erratic behavior on set. Llander's personal life was haunted by unresolved conflicts with co-stars, and although he married once, insiders hinted at long separations and frequent emotional volatility at home. He battled addiction to pain medication in the late 90s, which only came to light posthumously through a leaked personal journal. He died on December 4, 2020, at the age of 73, due to complications from multiple sclerosis. Alan Thicke, born March 1, 1947, stepped into the role of Rich Ginger in The Bold and the Beautiful in 2006 at age 59, a charismatic mirror of his public persona. But Thicke's polished image belied a chaotic personal life. Known widely as TV's ideal dad, behind the scenes, his appetite for fame often crossed moral lines. His songwriting career, though successful, came with claims of credit disputes, including a long-whispered accusation that he took undue authorship on a hit TV theme. Professionally, he was reportedly fired from multiple hosting gigs for unmanageable diva behavior. Off-camera, Thicke's love life was volatile. He was married 3 times, with infidelity rumors dogging every union. A former assistant once leaked text messages suggesting Thicke was involved in a cover-up involving a younger co-star and inappropriate comments made during a taping in the 2000s. His attempts to reinvent himself were always shadowed by whispers of arrogance and manipulative networking. He died on December 13, 2016, at the age of 69, from a ruptured aorta and aortic dissection. Austin Stoker, born October 7, 1930, played Mitchell Owens in The Bold and the Beautiful in 1991 at age 61. His character projected authority and calm, but in real life, Stoker's world was riddled with tension and silence. Though widely respected for assault on Precinct 13, his career was marred by being typecast as the strong black man archetype, which he loathed but silently endured. Industry whispers claimed Stoker had a long-standing feud with a prominent soap producer, which cost him bigger roles in daytime television. Privately, he suffered from chronic loneliness. His second wife left abruptly in the late 80s, reportedly accusing him of emotional neglect and harboring a secret second family in New York. Stoker denied the claims, but the scandal damaged his public image in black Hollywood circles. A perfectionist to a fault, he developed a reputation for belittling younger black actors whom he deemed unworthy, causing friction on multiple sets. He died on October 7, 2022, his 92nd birthday, of renal failure. Fred Willard, born September 18, 1933, portrayed John Forrester in 2014 at the age of 81, adding humor and warmth to the show's more solemn arcs. But Willard's off-camera life took a sudden nosedive in 2012 when he was arrested for alleged lewd conduct at an adult theater, a charge later dropped but not without massive media fallout. While publicly forgiven, insiders claimed it was not the first such incident. Former staff on a 1990s sitcom described Willard as a friendly face with strange tendencies, citing inappropriate jokes and boundary-crossing behavior in private rehearsals. Despite decades of critical acclaim, his career suffered quietly after the scandal, with many high-profile projects quietly rescinded. Privately, Willard grieved the loss of his wife Mary in 2018, after which his mental health declined sharply. Friends said he rarely left home and became increasingly withdrawn, obsessed with watching his old performances on loop. He died on May 15, 2020, of cardiac arrest at age 86, still struggling to shake the shadows cast by his late-in-life disgrace. Who's your favorite character in The Bold and the Beautiful? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.